For the first three paragraphs of my remarks, I'd ask the Democrats to pay attention. It may sound facetious, but I want to make a point. Today, we're hearing from 5 nominees to be considered for judgeships, including 2 circuit nominees. Because this is the committee's first hearing on judicial nominees of this Congress, I'll be very attentively listening to my Democratic friends to see if I catch any apologies from them to Justice Amy Coney Barrett. You see, last fall, we heard from them time and time again for weeks that Judge Barrett was being put on the Supreme Court for 2 reasons. One, to steal the election from Donald Trump and to get rid of Obamacare. Well, I just checked Joe Biden is president of the United States, and Obamacare is still on the books. If my friends don't want to apologize to Justice Barrett publicly, she's right next door, and I'll bet she'd be happy to accept any apologies in person. Turning to today's nominees, Judge Jackson has been nominated to the D.C. Circuit Court, often called the second highest court in the land. Judge Jackson was appointed by President Obama to serve D.C. District Court 2013 and has been involved in over 500 cases as a judge since then. As someone who has been very interested and invested in criminal justice reform, as Senator Durbin has been, I appreciate Judge Jackson's work on the Sentencing Commission, where she also served. We'll also hear from Ms. Jackson Okumi today, nominated for the 7th Circuit. She's a nominee who served as a federal public defender for 10 years in the Chicago area before moving to D.C. and has represented over 400 criminal defendants, many of whom were charged with crimes involving illegal firearms. I'll be interested in hearing her views on the so-called gun pandemic and how violent criminals play into that. From my review of her record, it certainly seems that Ms. Jackson Okumi has been a zealous advocate for her clients, and criminal defendants are deserving of competent representation in our justice system. But I'll be asking her today about some of the specific positions she's advocated for. I'm sure Democrats will complain that we shouldn't hold a nominee responsible for her clients, and perhaps that once was true. The fact is that previous nominees like Kyle Duncan, Howard Nielsen, Rosie Alston, Britt Grant, Mike Park, and countless others were opposed by Democrats because of the clients that they represented. At the same time, there's a growing hostility to fair representation on the left, with student radicals saying, quote unquote, not everyone deserves representation, and liberal activists seeking to penalize law firms representing clients with wrong positions, so-called wrong positions on social or political issues. As a wise man said recently, it can't be one set of rules for Republicans and another for Democrats. So I plan to look at candidates' records, including their legal advocacy on behalf of clients. The fact is that the far left group Demand Justice, which seems to be in charge of the judicial selections in this administration, says you can tell what kind of judge someone will be by their clients. They strongly support Judge Jackson and Ms. Jackson Okumi because their time as federal defenders will apparently cause them to pursue social justice rather than follow the law. And of course, I hope not, and it's not an accusatory statement, but it does take off on some very fair accusations against nominees of one party versus the nominees of another party. This hearing is our first look at President Biden's judicial nominees. I'm hopeful that these nominees will engage with all senators and thoughtfully respond to our questions. Congratulations to all of you for your nomination.